Short-form platforms are not learning environments. They're attention environments. Attention leads to understanding. Understanding leads to trust. Trust leads to action.
I'm Clint, and this is Creativity That Converts, the show where we unpack the art and strategy of using video to grow your business. This is the space to learn what's working, what's changing, and how to create content that really connects. No fluff, no ego, just real talk that gets results. Welcome to Creativity That Converts.
In the last episode, we walked through the 10 core videos that help AI recognize you and, just importantly, helps people trust you. Today, I want to talk about where short-form content actually fits into that picture. Because short-form isn't the problem, and it's not going anywhere, but it is a different environment. And if you don't respect that difference, short-form will always feel exhausting and unpredictable. Short-form platforms are not learning environments. They're attention environments. When someone is scrolling Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube Shorts, they're not sitting down to be educated. They're scanning, they're reacting, they're deciding very quickly what feels worth staying with. And that means short-form content does have to work harder upfront. This is where hooks matter. Visual hooks, audio hooks, and pattern interrupts can be a big difference. Something that earns the next second of attention, not because people are shallow, but because the environment demands it. This is where a lot of confusion creeps in. People hear hooks and think manipulation or gimmicks or shouting. That's not what a hook really is. A hook is simply a reason to pause. And in short form, you need that pause because without it, nothing else matters. But here's the critical distinction. Hooks get attention. They do not build trust. And that's where the short form on its own starts to break down. What we're seeing right now is a lot of agents creating short form content in isolation, hoping that social media will do everything. Introduce them, explain their value, build trust, create authority, generate leads. That's a lot to ask from a 20 or 30-second video. Short form content just doesn't work like that. Its role is not to explain everything. Its role is to open the door. Short form is the interruption. Long form is the reassurance. This is where the foundation from episode 2 becomes non-negotiable. Because when short form works, it's not because the hook was clever. It's because once someone stops, there's somewhere solid for them to go next. If someone watches a short video and it resonates with them, and then they look you up and there's nothing there that answers their next question, that whole moment just collapses. And that's the disconnect most agents are feeling now. They're winning attention, but they're not gaining trust. Now, when those foundational videos exist, something changes. Short form becomes a highlight reel for that depth, not a substitute for it. A hook might pull someone in with one thing most sellers misunderstand about pricing, but the trust is built when that idea is expanded properly in a longer video that explains how pricing works, why the psychology matters, what actually happens when a home is overpriced. Short form sets the invitation. Long form fulfills the promise. And this is where short form becomes incredibly powerful. Because now you're not trying to educate in 30 seconds. You're simply pointing to clarity. You're saying, if this question matters to you, I've already answered it properly. This also explains why short form feels harder right now. Keeping attention is harder in feed than it is when someone is actively searching for information. When someone sits down to learn, they bring intent. When someone scrolls, you have to earn that intent. That's why visual and audio hooks matter in short form. Movement, framing, tone, a clear opening line. Those things don't replace substance. They protect it long enough to be noticed. And when short form is connected to real depth behind it, the effort is no longer wasted because now attention leads to understanding. Understanding leads to trust. Trust leads to action. This is also where AI quietly comes back into this picture. Short form creates visibility signals, long form creates comprehension signals. AI doesn't recognize you because of one reel performed well. It recognizes you because your content ecosystem makes sense. Short form helps people find you. Foundational content helps them choose you. And in a people industry, that distinction matters. So if you're thinking about short form this year, here's the reframe. Yes, work on hooks. Yes, respect the platform. Yes, earn attention. But don't ask short form for a job it was never designed to do. Ask instead, what does this video lead to? If the answer is clarity, confidence, or reassurance, you're using short form properly. That's it for episode 3. Next time, we'll talk about how to audit what content you already have and identify the gaps without starting from scratch. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next week.